All right, today we are talking about construction submittal review process. What are the best practices? How to speed up the turnaround time almost by 50%. My name is Bhavya Agarwal. I am the CEO of zipBoard. I'm just going to quickly walk through the agenda today. What we are going to discuss about what the current submittals process is, what are the problems and the challenges, and what happens if you miss on submittal deadlines, and really why and how we need to improve the process. A quick demo of how you can use zipBoard to improve that process as well. Before we start, I'm going to introduce quickly what is zipBoard. So zipBoard really is a review and approval software for all kinds of design reviews. We've helped learning design teams, we've helped construction teams, we've helped web design teams in streamlining their processes when they are working on digital content, websites, PDF documents. So that's where even construction comes in. So what we figured is why do we really need to care about a submittal workflow? Like, why is it important? What we figured is that really submittals is on a very tight deadline. It works on a very tight deadline. Typically, as soon as the contractor gets a bid, they start getting submittals and they need to be able to review them very quickly. And there are multiple stakeholders involved, right? But if that process doesn't go quickly well or very well, what ends up happening is there's a lot of rework. You have to you could end up having rework, and that could lead to costly, of course, cost, and of course, a lot of errors as well. Then project delays, because of submittals, because of it going through so many stakeholders, it can delay the entire project. Payment delays, because the submittals, really the stamped documents act as contracts as well. They end up making the entire payment chain delayed as well. And then, of course, for the entire project, especially for large scale projects, disconnected information, not having one central place, or not knowing what is going to be used pre-construction before going into construction, it can really lead to a disconnected information. When construction is happening for so many years, why would it matter, and why does it matter to what are the common challenges today? What I understand that even today, a lot of people are doing construction reviews and submittal reviews on paper, and that definitely can be challenging because you're moving around literally drawings and mock-ups and shop drawings from one place to another, and waiting for approval from one party to another, then making changes and so on. So it's a time-consuming, cumbersome process. Essentially, even if you're not doing it physically by moving the drawings physically, even if you're you're moving around PDF documents, it tends to delay the process because it's not all centralized. There's one file going circulated amongst different people, so it leads to delayed timelines, confusion, which file is a current file, which is the current version that we are working on. And of course, there's a lot of scope of errors because of all of that. The reviewers, they are not very tech savvy at times, and they do not have the time to learn new tools. So it's hard for them to install a new license or get a new license for the tools. Then, of course, the manual copy paste process as well, like trying to have the reviews and feedback, then putting them in spreadsheets, trying to measure, how many, if you're breaking any SLAs, is it causing further delays? So all of that together really makes the entire submittal review process very challenging even today. So, I mean, we've talked about, how the construction, the whole submittal process is time consuming. But what is the process? Like, and this is a very simplified version of the process that I'm talking about here. Typically, a general contractor will wait for subcontractor to submit, to share submittals, and those submittals will now, and they could be multiple things, right? They can be mock-ups, they could be shop drawings, they could be material specifications, everything that would enable the construction to get started and to get to get certified that, okay, this is good. But the problem is, once it goes through this, once it comes on the subcontractor, to the contractor, they need to be reviewed by several people. It could be the architect reviewing, making sure that everything is to the specifications. It could be the external consultants, if there's a structural consultant required for that particular submittal, they will also review it. So all of that, if they do approve, which doesn't happen in the first go, if they do approve, then it's great, then it's just one cycle of iteration. But if they do not, it goes through back to the subcontractor, they make the edits, they update the version, they again go through that process of approval from architect, from the contractor, and finally, when everything is approved, every document needs to be stamped and approved and said, okay, you know what, this is good to go. And it becomes literally like a legal document to ensure that you're not using something else, or disconnected, or some other submittal that was not approved. So the entire process requires a lot of back and forth and a lot of versioning of all the content. So how does zipBoard really fit into all of this? So zipBoard really is a central secure place for all kind of reviews, and especially for even submittal reviews. One of the advantages of zipBoard is that it's cloud-based. So you do not really need to install a utility to do the markups and do the reviews. And also, you're not passing around files. You're really viewing the same file. Everybody is able to view the same file and make comments on it, right? Another advantage, and I'm going to walk through some of it through the demo, is the fact that you can upload your content or you can sync it up with the DMS. So you can organize your feedback, all of it that comes through. So really, it's one place where you can manage your submittals. You can even sync up your submittals with your document management system. And once you have synced that up, you can really collate all the comments, view them in one place, and have even measure and report and see how much, how many comments are we getting, what is the back and forth, how many versions did we go through, and all of this is in a secure cloud, and it lets you create a system that works for you. So what are the ways in which zipBoard really works? One is, we have a very secure document management system. So you can upload your PDF documents directly to zipBoard's dashboard, or in fact, even structure them into first projects and then upload them. Or what we end up doing is that we can actually even give you a platform to connect your existing document management system so that you're not really recopying those files or having two different structures, the file structure, right? That also is there's a lot of room for error if you have to copy files from one system, and your project management system or your document management system has one set of copy, and then your review system has a different set of copies, right? Ideally, you want them all to be in sync. And that's what zipBoard makes it easy, that you can really sync your existing DMS with zipBoard and directly put the URL, use the APIs to sync the database as well. This is what it looks like. I'm going to play a video here, but this is what it looks like, where you can see the entire list of content. You can upload different kinds, like either as a URL or as PDF document. What I'm showing here is a PDF document being uploaded directly, but like I said, what you can also do is add them from your DMS or sync them using API. So as soon as you get a new one, you can directly sync it with zipBoard. So you can name your documents, you can add the description so that you can search using some of those. And also you can set a phase, which is really what if let's say you have different phases that you want to go through with for the same document, like structural review, content review, the architectural review. So you can set those phases so that you can track what happens between each document. Once you've uploaded your documents, it's really now ready for review, right? Like either you've uploaded them or you've just taken the endpoint from your current system. They're ready for review, and you can now get your reviews and get them all marked up in real time in the PDF documents. So the advantage is that you are again working on the system on the same file. Everybody could be looking at the same file. They could be marking up using all the markup tools and giving feedback in the real time. Another advantage is that you don't have to manually now put them in a spreadsheet or use physical, your pencils to mark up. You can really do it very easily in an easy way in the software itself. And it's all on the cloud, so you don't really need to download a utility. So here we've picked one tool. I'm just going to move this here so that you can see the tools as well. You can add your comments. So whoever it is verifying, the architect, the general contractor, they can go through their own review cycles so they don't have to see each other's comments. Or if you would rather have them talk to each other, they can all see the comments, they can all create their comments, and then, keep on working on it. You can move the comments around so that it's easy to scroll and it's easy to view. And there are not too many tools, which is overwhelming. If it can be overwhelming for anybody, you can jump from one comment to another. So you can see a running list of the comments on the right hand side, and you can jump from one to another. So it's easy to again to see if there are 20 comments, 30 comments, 50 comments in a big drawing. You can see them all easily. What we also make easy is then again integrating into workflows. So we understand that, it ends up being like hundreds of comments sometimes, and you want to be able to see them easily. You also want to be able to connect them to your project management system. Let's say you're using Jira, you're using SAP, you could be using Primavera or any other tools that you're using. You want to be able to connect them. And that's something that you can do in zipBoard. So either you can use our internal tools, which let you move comments around, even assign it to people, or you could use the tools. You could connect your tools with our comments using the API. As an example here, now everything was in a table view. So we take this comment, we mark its priority so that can be handled first, and then really move it around as well, right? That it's from GC review, it's ready for architectural review. So you can really segregate each one of these for each comment. And in fact, one of our customers, for example, was using SAP's system, and they're moving these entire comments into their own SAP ERP, where they are able to measure, see how many comments come from every vendor, what is the time spent. They're able to measure everything, and they're able to create a better system for tracking as well. The other advantage that we have, that zipBoard has, is that we provide unlimited reviewers. So most commenting and markup tools expect your reviewers to have a license, which becomes cumbersome because as an admin, you have to think about, okay, who's going to get access? How are we going to give them access? And it becomes a very, very painful process itself. And you now try and limit your license as well. What we've done is we've kept unlimited reviewers, and in fact, in different ways you can assign, you can create reviewers. You simply have to share a link with them, and they can start adding comments. So what you can see here is we have a document already loaded, and I'm trying to create these different settings. So let's say I do not want them to log in, or you want it to be secure behind a login, and you can just ask them to share review either by creating a link or by just email. You can ask them to quickly share feedback. All they will see is the drawing or the document, the submittal, and they can start marking up. So they don't have to go through the complicated admin or the back end, but they can quickly add their markups, get moving with it, and you can start seeing that feedback coming in. The last and the final step, of course, in the whole process is stamping and printing, which I figure is one of the most important steps in the whole submittal review, because unless it's stamped and it can be printed and it can be sent to different people, and even in construction, then it's not a complete process, right? Then you have to again think about where to do it, how to stamp it, or maybe you will still be stamping the physical documents, which you do not want to do, right? So to keep the entire process digital, what you can do is you can stamp, you can bring in your own stamp, like as a JPEG or an image, and then you can actually sign it, add your time stamp on it, so that everything can be tracked and you know that the final document is ready for review. So here we have all the tools. One of the tools is the stamping tool. As you go through the content, here you can only see the partial content so that you can see the tools easily. Maybe I will have one quick review. I'll make that review, use the commenting tool. I feel like it's ready for approval. And once it is ready for approval, you can go in and add your stamp. The way you add stamps is pretty straightforward. Only the admins have the right to add the stamps. You can add your stamps in the project already. And here we have added 2 stamps. So you can choose a stamp, add it, resize it, place it on every page if needed, place it on a single page if needed. And once that stamp is placed to your satisfaction, you can mark what is your final status. This is just like how the real stamps are, right? You can mark the status. You can again, these are uploaded signatures, and every reviewer can upload their own signatures. So you can add your signatures. You can change the date, mark the date, and also say, whatever is your final approval on it. So it's reviewed. I'm going to add a timestamp here to say, okay, you know what, this was reviewed on this date, right? So you have all the comments, and now it's ready for printing. So you can print this entire document, and this entire document, when you print it, it can be shared amongst people. There will be all the annotations, the stamp, and everything. So you have the final document in the system. You can also share it with other people, and it's ready and good to go. So that's really how the entire process can be digitally managed without having to go through, again, multiple tools. To stamp a different tool, to manage your documents a different tool, and to mark up a different tool, right? So in effect, what we really do is we simplify the entire review process with zipBoard. You can get set up in a few minutes. It's completely cloud-based. It works out of the box. You don't need an extensive setup unless you're connecting with the API, which is also very straightforward. And we do provide services to help you with all kind of API connections. It's easy to use for all stakeholders. We haven't given a lot of tools because we understand that when you're reviewing for submittals, you do not need extensive tools. You just need to be able to quickly mark up, you need to be able to stamp the documents, send them, print them, and that's about it, right? You're able to manage your versions in one place, or you're able to in fact connect again with your existing system so that you're not keeping two different copies of your documents. We capture all the feedback automatically into spreadsheets, so you can download them into CSVs, and it's a quick and easy integration into your workflow. If you're going to use APIs, or even if your existing systems, we do have native integrations as well. And it's built for connected with your existing systems. If you're on SAP, if you're on MS Project, if you're using any large systems, you can really connect them with zipBoard and then still be able to manage your submittal process, get things on time without errors. And that's what zipBoard does for you. That's about it. If there are any questions, feel free to reach out to me at bhavya@zipboard.co. It's BHAVYA at zipboard.co. I'm going to wait around also here for any questions that come in, if there are any. Or again, feel free to email or reach out to us through Twitter, or or even email at support@zipboard.co.